60 to 70% of our education majors come from the community college sector. So that work gets done, and then after this, we'll try to put him in a mentored substitute program in a singular school. And if he's secondary, we would pair him with the department head in that secondary school, and he could basically attend their meetings, learn from their workshops and so forth, become a little member of their team. And then if you're out at a conference or because of illness, here's a guy who already knows the rules, knows the rest of the faculty in that department, and can move forward. If the principal really likes him and there's an opening the following year when he's ready to student teach, if he's qualified, he may have an opportunity, instead of doing an unpaid student teaching stint, to actually become one of our AIT, Advanced Induction to Teaching folks, like the person in Okeechobee we spoke about earlier, and actually move into a classroom and have a retired teacher by him every single day for the first part of that time, as well as a university supervisor who actually is going to give him a grade.
And this will still be while he's in college?
While he's still in college, and he'll be receiving a stipend for that work. So again, instead of more unpaid volunteer work, which is great, but how do you pay your bills, he'll at least get a stipend of around $5,000. And doesn't cost the school district anything.
Right.
They've got to have a teacher at that point, and they've got to have a substitute. So
but they don't have the money.
Here, right. So instead of spending it here, spend it over here on student.
And you're pointing towards Michael Lawler, who's one of your instructional interns and also a student at Palm Beach Community College. Absolutely. And he is now working with the reading program at Glade Central High School. Okay, so Glenn, let's talk a little bit about the program itself, and you know how feasible it is that you're going to be able to keep this going, because you know in these tight budget times, your state funding has been thrown out the window. So what are you all doing to not only keep it in, you know, but also grow the program? Well,
and that's the bottom line. I mean, we did have a state grant, which was great. That did go out the window. We don't expect that to come back. And yet and really at peak, we had about 125 students in the Glades working in schools, all 13 schools. Now we have about 26 to 28 per semester, and that is completely dependent upon the good work of our development office. That is true across all 8 school districts in which we have at least some representation. But without private support, it is very, very difficult. The first 2 years are really, there's no way to generate revenue other than through philanthropic efforts. David Rutherford, he's new to our panel right now. He is the Director of Development at Florida Atlantic University. So David, so it sounds like all the money problems are on you. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing to keep this program operating.
Well, one of the things about the program that even President Brogan remarks is its brilliance is in its simplicity. And that translates very well into the message that I take into the community. I try and communicate to them the relevance of the program, and of course we're all familiar with needing to increase the quantity and quality of teaching pool. The impact that the program is making, and of course we don't even have time to go into the hundreds of thousands of hours of instructional intern support that you've already heard spoken about. So the message is very, very easy to communicate. And the appetite, even in these tough budget times, the accelerated induction to teaching program and the substitute model, as Glenn said, don't require any additional dollars. So I get to the privilege of raising money on the front end for those good fit first introduction to teaching students. It's $1,000, puts a student in a classroom for an entire semester doing a minimum of 100 hours of instructional internship within that K-12 classroom setting. And we've been very, very fortunate with folks within this community, the Quantum Foundation and the Pew Public Education Fund, and the Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin Counties, and the Moran Foundation, and I apologize because I'm going to leave someone out. But the list continues to grow with those funders, and the opportunity to rally around this program, they're excited about it.
And those foundations, I'm sure you appreciate them greatly, and keep the money coming to FAU.
Absolutely.
All right, David Rutherford, Glenn Thomas, and Michael Lawler. We're going to come back in just a couple of minutes and just talk about some of your final thoughts. And I want to hear what Michael's future holds. I think this should be very interesting. So we're going to talk with Michael about his future when we come right back here on Eye on South Florida. Stay with us. Welcome back to Eye on South Florida. I'm Susie and Boyd. All right, Glenn, final thoughts on this program. What is the goal of this program?
Put the best trained teachers in the most struggling situations. That's it. And it's urban, rural. Michael's a great example of somebody who grew up in a rural community, who's back serving that rural community. He's got friends, family, connections. He's a role model. He's a great intellectual resource. What we want to do is provide Michael with the educational opportunities through Florida Atlantic University in the Belglade community so that he can get the last 2 years and be a highly, highly productive teacher wherever he chooses to teach within that community. So it's kind of a grow your own. Michael's going to be a great example. We'll be offering that cohort model, starting that coursework this fall. It's a tough budget time. A commitment's been made by the college and the university, and we're going to make it happen.
So Michael, do you see yourself staying in Belglade and teaching there?
Yes.
Or in the Glades?
Yes. Definitely in the Glades, yes.
Definitely. So if Glade Central offered you a job in a couple of years, would you take it?
Yes.
All right, Glade Central, you heard it here. Well, I think you have a bright future in teaching, and I think that the students are very lucky that are working under you right now. So thank you so much for joining us. Michael Lawler, Glenn Thomas, David Rutherford from Florida Atlantic University, and Michael from Palm Beach Community College, and this very interesting program that you all put on.
Thank you.
And if you're a teacher and are looking for a college, why not FAU? All right, thank you so much for joining us here on Eye on South Florida. Have a great day, everybody.